Morning guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I'll try to keep it short, as I always say, but I never do. I try not to post, if there's a whole lot going on to give, say John and a lot of those other guys that post, because they have X accounts and other social media and things like that, and I don't. I'm old, whatever. Is what it is, and wait until I guess it, accumulates enough to where some of it needs to be explained or, gone over to where, something makes some kind of sense because, at this point, there's so much out there that there's not much of any of it makes any sense. But in a nutshell, right, is for one, I only made 4 notes for the video this morning, is with regard to Stephanie White and real reporters, right? Okay, so there's only one accrediting body for journalists, and I haven't found one yet that's supposedly accredited. Stephanie White definitely doesn't show up on any of those, executive boards, or even of people that, vote on who gets, the accreditation, to be a reporter. Credentials, okay. Then you change the wording. It's, give you access to our facilities, our players, media availability. There you go. We're giving you access to say what we tell you is okay to say, or ask what we say is okay to ask. If you can't comply, then you don't have access to our facilities or our people, and that's that. Credentials, it's not a real word. It's not a, they can use it all they want to, but it doesn't exist as far as teams and getting media access to pre-game, post-game practices, you name it. Okay, so that's one. So that was utterly stupid that she would say that and then laugh about the content creators, because I think they all do a great job of putting out information, and at the same time there's nothing wrong with them shaking the tree, see what falls, right? What do you got to lose when the organization that you want to support, the player or players that you want to support, are have no transparency? They don't give you any information. They don't tell you anything. Now you get it that you don't want to give other teams an advantage, right? But they also have access to, a fair portion of the information. It's kind of whatever they need. It's going to be in the rules they're allowed to have, which would be your injury reports, the films, all of them see and get the same, so nobody's looking at anything that none of them have seen before. Same with offenses and defenses, right? We'll get into that. That's my second and third thing. Is there's none that have ever been done in the last 100 years of basketball that haven't been done before. So, sure, rotations may be different. You may do it, but make your own changes and things like that to better suit the team that you have. Otherwise, it's still, in a nutshell, basically the fundamentals of the design and scheme, etc., are the same. Nothing's any different. I don't know what in the world. Stand by. Okay, I think I got that small technical difficulty sorted out. Either way, so number 2 and 3 on my list were offensively, defensively, right? We can talk about schemes. We could talk about, you know, what they did or didn't do in free agency or the draft. You know, everything is, of course, speculation. You know, as to how it would have worked. It all depends on the coaching, right? That actually, you know, so it's how much falls on Stephanie White, how much falls on the players. Well, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, advocate for. I'll advocate for this, right? She can do better. Her staff can do better. She can take accountability at some point for something, right? Not take the credit. If you care who gets the credit for your wins and losses, then you're never going to win anything. No coach in the history of any sport has ever been that narcissistic about being the one in the spotlight as a coach, and cared, you know, that they had to be and won. It's not a real thing. If that's got to happen, if that's the way it's got to be, then they will never win. I mean, that's, you know, from Crosskoff to Cox to White. You know, they're a team, right? A head coach is only as good as the people they surround themselves with. It's the same with the individual players. They have their personnel, right, for training, for nutrition, for, I mean, God, there's somebody for everybody nowadays, right? You know, to keep themselves in the best shape that they can be in their professional athletes. That said, you know, when I say offensively, defensively, you know, as far as our team goes, what can we do? Because at this point, it's not a lost cause. Okay, if you said a third of the way through the season, you know, I wouldn't give up hope yet, because as far as the player portion goes, absolutely, you watch the film. We all see the same film, right? Or we're watching the same game, hopefully. And you know, just off the top of my head, a few things that you know that are noticeable, right? Is we don't block out. Okay, blocking out is not me being in front of the person underneath the goal. Okay, shot goes up. First thing you do is put a body on a body. Find somebody, anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the one you're guarding. The closest body. Everybody puts a body on a body. You block out. In the low post, right? Like Aaliyah Boston, whatever. Okay, you're not on the guy's side where you can jump out of the gym. Where 6'4" versus 6'5" or 6'6", okay, he can get up faster. So maybe doesn't have to block out as far. Okay, seems to be the problem. And I'll show a couple of clips of you know, videos that I just took a couple snapshots of where we have nobody in position to rebound. You know, if we don't make the shot, right? Shot goes up, body on a body. That's huge. It's huge. It's fundamental, right? It's things they teach them in junior pro and elementary school ball, right? Block out, damn it. The low post block. That's like the bare men, not the damn circle underneath the basket. That's not blocking out. You block out to the low post blocks and around that circle. So right, you know, up in front of the low post blocks if you're in front of the rim. And then let's see, okay, defensively, we got to get back. That's the very first thing. They got the ball. Okay, everybody's sprinting back. Now you're just picking up somebody, anybody, doesn't matter. You got to stop ball. That's first and foremost. Absolutely, you got to stop ball. Now once you stop ball, you can switch and get on to the right. You know, get your matchups right, things like that. But you got to stop ball first. And we haven't been doing that. And, you know, everybody is just kind of, you know, not racing back on defense. And, of course, those are things that, you know, fall on the players. Okay, so like I say, you know, as far as blocking out and, you know, the getting back on defense. You know, that's not saying, you know, CC can guard, you know, their stretch four if they have one, or their center. If she's the one with the ball and she's closest to you, you still got to pick her up so that she doesn't have a free run at the rim. All right, and then Aaliyah Boston's going to come over and switch with you, and you can switch back to who you're supposed to have. You know, because sometimes, like I say, it looks like they're lost out there. So when I coach, right, it's or whatnot, it's you know, when, like I say, when there's certain things that, like I say, you shouldn't have to say. I don't even know why I'm making a video. And like I say, we're talking about professional. They're supposed to be professional women's basketball players. You know what I mean? This is a team of elite, supposedly. I mean, there's only 15 teams with, you know, 12 players each, too, on the development roster, you know, that they could activate. Why the Fever don't, what the deal is with Passat. There again, that's a whole Indiana and a transparency thing, and they don't tell anybody shit because they think that, I don't know, they're special. Maybe they are. I don't know. But the rest of the world doesn't know about it. So you got to tell us what it is about you that makes you that special, right? Because at this point, we have absolutely no idea. Literally, any coach and every coach, the best of the very best, you know, have said, no idea what they're doing. But when you have a guard like Caitlin Clark out there, your possibilities are literally limitless. You know, can you win championships playing small ball without having a 6'6" center and a 6'4" stretch forward? Yes, absolutely you can. The Warriors dynasty is one, right? The Hamptons 5 and what was it called? The lineup of death, you know, that they had. Okay, and the tallest player they got on the floor was Draymond Green at 6'7". Come on, everybody knows that's short for the NBA to be, you know, but they just played, you know, without a center. So he was your stretch four, and then, but at the same time, like I said, they had 4 shooters. The other team had absolutely no choice but to guard the perimeter. So they could not clog the paint. So if your big man, a team is bigger, and they can't get up and down the court and run with us, then they have no choice but to sit the big on the bench. Okay, hello, there again, coaching. That, like I say, those things are on coaching. When you call timeouts, when you do challenges or don't, that's on coaching. When you call technicals, right? When I coach, I'm going to get teed up. It's going to happen more often than not, probably, and thrown out a few times. You know, how about we do that? Nah, just saying, right? And let the players know that you really have their back. That's the only way they're going to know, because nobody gives a shit what you say in this world. The only thing that matters is what you do. You don't have to tell us you're going to do it. Just do it. Now we'll believe you. Okay? So with a little more time, a little more transparency, things like that, people will gradually, you can start to get a little bit of that trust back. Right now, nobody believes fucking nothing you're saying. They're not going to. Who blames them for selling their tickets at 50 cents on the dollar? God. Whatever. And I got one last thing, and then I'll leave y'all alone for this morning. Okay, guys, my last thing is this, right? Because it always seems like, you know, even when I played and, you know, still coach or officiate or whatever it is, right, that I may be doing, the refs, you can't leave it in their hands, right? It'd be like a boxer being okay with leaving it to the judge's scorecards to decide whether you win or lose a fight. If you're really that much better, then you should win. Okay, there's a lot of little things, right? Minor details. You do all those little things right, and you end up on the winning side most of the time. So yeah, the biggest thing is bringing the energy, the intensity, offensively and defensively. Like I say, the small things, but a whole lot of small things. I've always said this equal one big ass problem. If you don't fix none of them, you still got one big ass problem. So you got a whole lot of little problems right now. You ain't fixed none of them. There again, that's on the coaching staff. But as a player, they have to take some pride in what they do in their craft, which would be blocking out, defending. Okay, that's not once they're set and you're set. It's everything included. It's getting back. It's blocking out. It's what I'm saying. I say you know what I'm saying. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Okay. The last thing I was going to touch on was the officiating, because it always seems like there's always going to be teams and fans and different coaches and whatnot that want to, or players that want to just say blame the officials for a loss, or I never necessarily heard a team give a shout out to Tyler or whoever it may be for helping us with the win today. Short of them challenging, I've never heard anybody say get into it with a ref and them say, you know what, you're right, let me change my call, hold on a sec, y'all, let me go to the announcer's thing and let them know that, hey, I talked to CC for a minute and I've decided she's right, I'm wrong. That's not a real thing, so not real sure why. What I'm saying. The coach should be the one, not her assistants, the coach. She's got to do those things. She's got to call timeouts at the right time to either stop momentum or to give her players a rest. Get the substitutions right. This is at a point, like I say, we say third, right, and everybody's kind of right there as far as wins, losses, whatever. So nothing's out of the question at this point. We just got to get it right. So then the only question is, can they, right? So it's back to the officiating, because that was my last point, was if they're going to call them for fouls that aren't fouls, this is just me. And this is exactly what I would tell my players. Nothing, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know why? Because I also officiate Division I women's basketball. That's on me. That's my job to make those calls. If I don't, then I'm allowing you to get away with it. So they're allowing other teams to get away with it, not the Fever. So my thing is, if they're going to call you for a ghost foul or this or that, foul them hard. Foul them hard. Make it obvious. Okay? So let's say you get 5 in a game, 1 or 2 of your fouls, make it obvious. Put them on the ground. If they're going to lay down anyway, you might as well foul the shit out of them. Make them earn it. Make them earn that little flop job they just did. I mean, it's what we used to do. Of course, that's 30 years ago, but make the officials call it. And then, you can go from there. And then the ghost fouls won't really seem like fouls. Hope everybody has a great day, and go Fever.